All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 41 of Practical Chrome. That's right, the podcast, videocast, mostly videocast these days, dedicated to everything Chrome and Googlish, mostly Chromeish, like Chromecast, Chromebooks, Chrome OS, Chrome browser on all your different devices. And, of course, joining me every single week, the two other co-hostess with the mostesses, Craig Tumbleson and James Wallace. Gentlemen, welcome. Craig, how you doing, sir?
I'm alive, John, and that's about all it takes to get this show off the ground.
That's exactly right. Heart is beating, lungs are breathing oxygen. We are good to go. James, what about you, sir?
I'm doing good, John.
Excellent, excellent, sir. Well, guys, it's been a long 3 weeks for me, as you all know, and this has been yet another one of those weeks. And I'm sorry that we're not uber prepared or ready to go. We do have some things to talk about, though, in the news and some other cool stuff, I think, kind of related to Chrome OS as well as some Google things that I wanted to bring up. Google's been making some pushes for some unique changes that I thought we might talk about. So, again, everyone, welcome to the show. Thanks for listening or watching or just being a part of this Practical Chrome experience. And let's get started, guys. The first thing I wanted to bring up, just because, is the whole inbox thing. Now, Craig, I know you don't have access because you have a Google Apps account and inbox isn't available. But I think that it's kind of interesting. James, though, you've got a great video out there that everyone can check out. If they check out James Welbus on the G+, they can see you've got a couple of cool videos, but one is actually about inbox, and it does a roundabout, looks at all the features of inbox. If you could, okay. All right, that's not correct. So we'll continue forward though. Why don't you tell all the people about Google Inbox?
So Google Inbox is a thing. I'm not even sure how to describe it. It's basically a replacement. It's an alternative to Gmail. It's another way to check your Gmail email. So it looks completely different. It's not just Gmail redesigned a little bit. It's just a completely different way to check your Gmail email. And there are some similarities between the two, but there are some differences. It's in beta right now. It's pretty new. It's only been released for a week maybe a little bit longer. So it is lacking some features, but it's in beta. I mean, it's new. They're not going to release every single feature imaginable right away, so you're not able to add a signature or whatever. But for the most part, it's completely fully functional. Some people have actually made the switch completely from Gmail to using Inbox to check their email. So it is possible to do that. It is functional enough for some people to actually use it exclusively. They've done a great job of making it look exactly the same pretty much on mobile and desktop. The whole thing is very material design, very responsive. So that's kind of nice that you don't have two completely different user interfaces with Inbox. It's pretty much the same exact experience on mobile and on desktop. But I don't know how much you want me to go into it, but that's kind of an overview right now. I'm not sure what their plan is, if they're planning to replace Gmail with Inbox, or if they're planning on just maintaining two completely separate email apps for checking the same address. I'm not sure, but because it doesn't really make sense to use both. It's kind of a one or the other, whichever one works best with your workflow type thing. I don't see a point in one particular person using both for the same email address. So we'll see where. I'm very interested to see where it goes, what they do with Inbox and what they do with Gmail.
So I would say that that's a good synopsis, and I think that your video does a really good job of kind of going over some of the buttons and some of the features that do currently exist. Like you said, there's some stuff missing. It is invite only, and Craig, since he's not on a strictly Gmail account, he's on a Google Apps account. He's using Gmail as his provider, but it's not. You don't actually have access to this type of beta testing. So Craig couldn't take a look at it, but I did. I jumped in I wouldn't say that I replaced Gmail. I do want to show you my screen though, so you can see. This is what it looks like when you have a zero inbox, and I think that that's kind of the point of inbox. I think now, I could be wrong. I think that maybe this is just a re-swizzle of Gmail. If you look at my Gmail in comparison, and you look at something like my LinkedIn hits, right? So this is what my email used to look like. If you look at these, of course, these are just like this is just like one of my filters, but this is what my inbox used to look like. And of course, I used the compact theme. It looked all like junk, and when I hit read, it would just be red, right? So, like you can see down there, this very bottom one is gray. So I never archived anything. I never used all the right tools properly in Gmail to have a zero-level inbox. But if you do it this way, then you're able to use, if I were to bring up something like, for instance, Redbox recently sent me a lot of promos, right? So if I bring up Redbox and I uncheck these, if I can actually uncheck them, come on. It's not doing what I want it to do. Oh, I just moved that to trash. So I don't want to do that.
It's very easy to use.
I was going to say I got my right. I want to uncheck that. Okay, so it's not marked. Okay, so if I go back, it'll be. It's not in there either. Well, the point is, couldn't do that very well, could I? But I think the point is a zero inbox, and I did bring up some information on that just so I could kind of point to that. With a zero inbox is a rigorous approach to email management aimed at keeping the inbox completely empty or almost empty at all times. And this journalist, blogger, what do you want to call it, on Mashable, stated, reaching inbox zero is like the holy grail of digital lifestyle. As the number of unread messages steadily increases, so does your unshakable feeling of spiraling down a never-ending tunnel of doom. Right? So, looking at this beautiful sun, you don't get that feeling anymore, and I think that was kind of the point. And I think that it presents itself as the zero inbox tool for me, because it's already done that. I already have a zero inbox. I have nothing there whatsoever. Does that make sense?
It gives me feelings of anxiety.
What? Why?
Because I went to inbox.google.com to check my email, and at first glance it would appear as if I don't have any email, and I'm just naturally worried now. Where the heck is all my email?
Okay. All right,
Plus,
but
you have to click more buttons to see your email now, which is just kind of annoying for me.
Well, not really.
You just did. I just watched you click a button.
No, but that's because these are all. That's only because I checked them. If I uncheck them, if I can make this work, okay, there we go. Let's see, that's the button. Okay, so let's say I uncheck these, and then I go back to inbox, which, by the way, using the and I don't know if this works here, but the online, the web version, I mean the mobile version, it's like really easy to like swipe things. It's like really like, and like when you swipe down all the way, it goes right back to inbox instead of actually having to click inbox. They've done a really good job of making things really nice. So I'm going to open social, right? Because this is a bundle, and there they are, right? And I have this button option called sweep, which basically marks anything that's unpinned as basically red. That's basically what it does. That makes it red. I can mark it as done or sweep it on the individual basis, or I can just sweep the entire group, or I can actually sweep my entire inbox with one of those buttons. But sweeped means basically archived in this instance. So I think that's what the whole point is. You're supposed to use the archive feature. You're supposed to get rid of mail that you want. You're supposed to delete mail you really don't want. So I think it's about the zero inbox. Craig, have you heard of zero inbox?
I have, but I haven't internalized the ideology quite as much as you have. I try. I make an effort, but realistically, with the sheer amount of information that I get into my inbox, I probably hover around 30 to 50 any given time. and that's staying on top of them as they come in. So
Okay, I'm with you. I mean, well, I like the idea, and I think that there is a pending doom type thing to it. I think that blogger made a good point. So that's what I like about it. I think it's got this doom to it. When you
I
have a
just
lot.
hope we don't get rid of Gmail, because there's inbox is very different, and you either love it or hate it. And Gmail is probably the same way. And it's going to be really frustrating if they force me to use inbox.
Well, it has all this pin thing though. That thing doesn't work very well. I had a promo code for Redbox. That pinning thing did not work very well. But in regard to replacement, I don't know. And it's a good question, but I don't think that they're trying to replace Gmail, because I think there's too many people that are very like, I never got good with like keyboard shortcuts. Did either of you? Do you guys use keyboard shortcuts? Keyboard shortcuts with Gmail?
No, didn't know they had them.
sometimes I used a couple of them, but honestly, my biggest shortcut at the moment is Android Wear. I can delete messages from my watch at a glance, so it speeds it up really by a large margin.
There you go. See. All right. There you go. So look at that. See, and I got some auto awesome photos from Frozen. Went to Frozen on Ice. I'm bringing it up because it was a really nice time. All right, so that was Google Inbox, and that was like a big Google push, right? Inbox was pretty cool. I think, James, you made a great video kind of pointing out some of the highlights of it. And so I think that if you do get an invite or you want an invite, definitely go out there and check that out. Look for someone to hook you up with one. I don't have any to give out, I don't think. So like, do you get them if you get it? I don't know.
They said on their Google Plus page that Inbox users should have gotten 3 invites to give away today, around 2 o'clock.
Oh, I might have swept.
I have at least one that I can give away because I have the golden ticket, but it doesn't tell me how many I have to give away. So, I don't know. I have at least one.
It's, by the way, the search functionality in this thing is super fast.
John, for you, you're going to want to click the little red plus button in the bottom right, and then there should be a golden ticket icon that pops up.
Really?
Really.
Yeah, are you looking for invites right now?
Yeah.
So click the little red icon.
Then.
I thought that was just
There
a code.
Golden ticket.
Click the golden ticket.
Click that.
Look at
Bada
that.
boom.
Sexy something else.
So everybody PM John for an invite. If you're listening,
Yes.
John Oliphant at Google Plus, he's got invites.
How does that work?
I have none. You just click on it and then click an email address.
Ooh. I have 3 invitations left. All right, look at that.
Oh,
Huh? What?
it told you have 3?
Yeah. It says
not know
invite a
that.
friend who wants to try Inbox. See, for those of you can see my screen now, so I cancel, and then when I mouse, look at that. There's a little like doo.
I also have 3 to give away. All right.
All right. I like it. All right. So that's Google Inbox again. Very interesting. And you know what it is? It's a swizzle. It's a retake of internet of email. I think is what it is. And it's without getting rid of Gmail. It's a little bit of a swizzle.
For now.
Same data, same techniques, right? They're just using archiving and they're using the word sweep or done. So, yeah, I like it. All right. So, what was next up? There was. I don't want to tell if Frozen on Ice is dying on the vine. I don't think you guys are interested, so I won't bring it up. But it was really cool. Frozen on Ice was awesome. Are you interested? You're not interested, are you? Craig's like, no. Okay.
Worst Disney movie ever.
Are you kidding me? How is that? How is that even? I don't even know what words are coming out of your mouth. Look, I'm not like a huge fan,
Because Disney is all about the soundtrack, and Frozen had the worst soundtrack I've ever heard in a Disney movie. Every song was stupid. The lyrics were just dumb and annoying. Sorry. No more ranting about Disney movies.
I was gonna say, holy cow. Holy cow. But they even had the marshmallow guy? The guy with the, what was his name? They call him Marshmallow, I think.
You
like
said you weren't going to bring it up, and now we're looking at pictures.
All right, fine. Fine!
Just saying.
There's my kids watching it. Look how excited they are. They're very happy. All right. The other thing was a default wallpaper for Chrome OS. Now, this is kind of, speaking of boring, I really like the fact that Google had given a specific wallpaper, had, the words I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for, the fact that there was these unique images, right? So what we're saying here now is, Craig, and correct me if I'm wrong, Craig. I think Craig knows the most about this, so I'm gonna throw it to you, Craig. A default wallpaper, i.e. the grassy knoll in the in the Windows machines back in the early 2000s.
There's actually a wallpaper in the Chrome OS set that recreates that. It's Rolling Hills.
Right.
Chrome OS wallpaper is pretty interesting, actually. They started out, Google's original batch came, they were licensed from Getty Images. There's one that's just all green, it's like grass, that came from Getty. But then they decided to do something weird. They actually got Googlers that are interested in photography to include their photos in Chrome OS. So some of the more memorable ones, for example, there's one of barbed wire. That was taken by, I want to say, Roman Guy. He's a Googler and a hobbyist photographer. I think there might be a couple from Trey Ratcliffe. Actually, I know there are. He doesn't work for Google, but he works very closely with Google. He's a full-time photographer. And then they've recently started to add satellite photography from Google Maps that they've licensed to the collection as well. And those are pretty interesting too, just because of the detail and some of the pictures that you can really only get from above. This wallpaper deviates from that entirely. I don't know that we've ever actually had something like this before. Mostly they've been like landscapes or cityscapes or satellite photography, and this is not photography. This is a computer-generated image. There was one other computer-generated image, which was on the HP 11, and that was actually created by two Googlers, one of whom I interviewed on OMG Chrome. He also created the little "You Are Offline" dinosaur image that we see every now and then.
Right.
But yeah, this is supposed to be a material design look. I believe it's borrowed from Android L, or maybe not borrowed. Maybe it was designed with the dual purpose in mind. But yeah, you're right. It's going to become the default wallpaper moving forward. I'm not sure if the team has decided yet whether or not it'll become default for users, like all users, or if it'll just show up for new users. They haven't decided yet, it seems like. But it's possible that in a future update, everybody that uses Chrome OS will see this wallpaper, and they'll have to go in and change it back. It's possible it'll only replace it for users that aren't using a custom one. I don't know the details of that yet, but hopefully, if they do it wrong, a lot of people will probably be pretty ticked, because people don't like when you mess with their wallpapers. Trust me.
They make a good point, but so I've got it up on my screen, right? And it is what it is. It is material design. It is flat surfaces with a 3D aspect of having layers of paper, basically. Some of them have texture in this image, but basically you use corresponding shadow to show what paper is on top of the other paper, so that way you know what is in the front and what is in the back, and that is how material design kind of works. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I can't get on board with this one. Inbox them all down. James.
Quick update.
Yeah.
I got around to reading the bug ticket while you were talking and ranting about paper or whatever. Apparently, there was a parallel email thread internally that didn't make it to the ticket, but they outlined that it should only change for people that are still using the default wallpaper setting on Chrome OS. So if you've changed it even to another Chrome OS wallpaper, you will not see this. You won't just turn on your device and it'll be different. But users that are still using the default, it will automatically change to this.
Are you serious?
That's the way it
Are you
reads.
serious?
At number 21 on the ticket.
So you're saying that right now you can't. I'm not sharing my entire screen, but if you look at my screen, I'll lift up my Chromebook. This is the default for the Acer C720.
That's not default. That's an OEM choice.
Oh. What the hell does that mean?
OEMs like Acer, HP, they have the ability to provide a wallpaper of their own choice. Some of them have decided to do that, others haven't. I don't think Samsung has yet, but HP did with HP 11, they did with HP 14, and Acer has done it with the C720 and C720p. What that means is they ship the wallpaper on the device. It doesn't come from Google. It's actually a file located on your device in the OEM directory. I actually have instructions on how to pull one off somewhere. Anyway, point being, because those devices don't use the default wallpaper, they use their own, they should not be affected by this.
So what models? Like, are we talking about like the CR48? That's it.
No,
What's
it
the
should
default
be
wallpaper?
the default wallpaper. Joey, in his article, he's got one of the photos of a bridge, but I think, and I may be wrong, I believe the current default wallpaper is not that. I believe the current one is actually
Is this?
that. No, that is a different one.
That's my default. That's
Right.
the Asus Chromebox.
Oh, so they're doing it too. The default wallpaper, to the best of my knowledge, should be. I think it's a landscape. Oh yes, it is. I will show you on my laptop. It's the one with the rocks, the giant rock and the sandy beach.
Oh, that's the default.
Yeah, and I think that happened
Lenovo
during the 20s, during the 20 milestones, somewhere in there, maybe 30. Although, we are at 38. Time flies. But the
39, bro.
the photo Joey uses was the original from back when Aura first debuted. So I think it got switched somewhere, and I think the Samsung Series 3 was the first one to have it. But
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Right. See, I really enjoy a good landscape. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, and here's the Rolling Hills one that is meant to look like Windows XP.
That doesn't look anything like Windows XP.
If you look at it, the contrast on my camera isn't great, but it is Rolling Hills, and it's much more saturated, so it kind of gives it the effect of an updated version. I don't think it's the same place. I read an article somewhere along the line that said the place was like barren now, so people have gone back and tried to take updated photos. It doesn't work.
That is like some rolling hills.
Similar.
And I have sheep.
Yeah, but those weren't there on the XP version.
No.
And
We
for
were-
Google,
we
they
were-
should be goats.
We were all sheep by jumping onto Windows.
Sure.
Come on. That was a good one.
Well, for Google, it should be goats, because Google hired goats that one time to cut their grass, and I don't think they've done it since, because it was horribly inefficient. Who would have guessed?
But they got goats out of the deal, so.
Oh my gosh.
They rented them. They didn't. You don't.
They
buy
just
goats.
rented goats?
Yes.
Investment. You gotta buy those.
No.
Oh dear. I'm
Talking
keeping
about wallpapers.
this wallpaper. I actually have a file folder of like all these. I go to Reddit. I go to the Earth porn category, and I save all the really good porn on there. I'm good to go. Again, Earth.
Everybody, Everybody make sure to go to the Chromebook community and share your wallpaper with us so we can see it.
Don't, please. Please don't.
We love wallpaper posts over there.
No, please.
Nice.
I will be up all night removing those. And just to clarify on that, because it is a point of common confusion, the reason why we don't allow wallpaper posts is because most of the time people are just taking a screenshot of their wallpaper, and Chrome OS can't really be customized, so unlike traditional Linux where you can make it look however you want, and there's kind of an art to that, customization, Chrome OS doesn't have that, so we wind up with just the entire community full of screenshots of wallpapers, and then people asking where they can get the actual wallpaper because the screenshot has all the other stuff in front of it. So it's...
So moral of the story is wait till about 11 o'clock at night. Craig's usually in bed by
Craig's
then.
going to bed.
It'll at least last until the morning.
Sorry, that's not funny. It's wrong. So wrong. So the other thing I wanted to bring up, besides this riveting wallpaper discussion, was Google domains, and again, this is like a Google-centric type thing. But James again has done an excellent job with his video where he touches on just the finer points of the Google domains. I just think it's a cool. It's like, I don't know. James, fill us in. Like, what is Google domains?
Google Domains is Google's registrar service. You would compare it to GoDaddy or 1&1, Namecheap, these kind of companies where you can go and buy a domain name. Google has been a registrar for a while, but now they're actually jumping into the consumer market with their registrarness. It is also invite only, like Inbox. They've been a little more liberal with the invites with Google Domains than Inbox. They gave so far I've received 10 invites just to give away myself with domains. So I don't know what their strategy is versus an Inbox, but they've been giving out a lot of invites. It hasn't been super hard to score a Google Domains invite. It is not very featureful yet. It kind of like Inbox, it does the job right now. You can buy domains, you can transfer domains, you can control the domain DNS settings, but you're not going to find all the advanced features that you would find with GoDaddy or 1&1 or something like that yet. A couple things that kind of sets them apart. They do not give you any free email addresses. They do give you some email forwards. So if you already have an email address, you can set up 100 forwards with your domain name in it to your email address. Privacy is free with Google. There are some registrars that charge for that. You have control over the name servers. You can add all the main DNS records that you would normally add: A records, MX records, CNAMEs, SRD records, that sort of stuff. I really like how they've done it. I like the user interface. It's very simple, very easy to use. There's not a whole lot of features, so it's hard to be confusing when there's not very much you can do anyways. But I have moved 4 domains over to it so far, out of like 30 that I own. It would be really expensive to transfer them all right away. It's $12 transfer. So it's so far I've been happy with it. I had a little snafu in the beginning moving one domain over, and I wasn't really paying attention, so I'm not sure if it was my fault or Google's fault. I feel like I'm pretty sure I checked the box that said keep all my DNS settings the same. But once the domain transferred, my website went down because all my DNS settings did not stay the same. They defaulted to whatever Google's DNS settings are. So I just had to jump in there and change that real quick. And I swear I clicked that freaking box, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. It hasn't happened since. I've transferred 3 other domains over, and I haven't had any issues. So it's hard to tell, but otherwise, it's been great. The propagation time has been what you would expect, whenever I make any changes, and haven't had any issues yet.
Oh, word. And again, how do I give it? How do if I've got ways to give out the? I don't know if I have any invites because you hooked me up.
If you log into your account, are you looking at it right now?
I am.
Oh, yeah. You do not have any invites. Over on the left, under where it says "Send feedback," it would say that you have a certain number of invites, and there'd be a little box for you to type in an email address.
Ignorant.
You can see, if you look at my screen, there it is over here on the left.
I see it.
I've been lazy with getting these invites out. They gave me 5 in the beginning, and I gave all those out right away. And then I got an email saying they gave me 5 more, and I just didn't feel like going out and finding people. So I'll put them in the. Eventually, I'm going to hit up the Google Domains community on Google Plus and give them away there. So there's a couple people that are giving away invites already.
Who's the moderator over there?
Some really handsome guy. That's all I don't know the details.
I think I'm a moderator there. Sounds like me.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So Craig and James, you are the moderator over there. So I think there's probably a few people that you could probably give invites to. Who probably already pinged the community. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Craig, you had another thing about the image burner deal with Chrome OS.
I want to talk about Google Domains.
You do? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I apologize.
He's a user, man. He really is the moderator of the community.
Are you the moderator of the community? I thought James was the moderator of the community.
He's the owner.
Oh, wow, way to pass the buck, James.
Anyway, so I've worked with Google Domains for a couple months. It's not comparative to GoDaddy, Namecheap, Name, or anybody else because it's not designed for those same users. If you read the marketing materials, Google is basically adding this as part of their Get Your Business Online initiative. So Google wants to position themselves as the driving reason for small businesses to have a website. Basically, Google's marketing perspective is if there's a small business that's not currently online, their primary desire needs to be, I want to be listed in Google, because Google is how people find things on the internet. So to that end, Google wants to make it easy for small businesses to buy a domain, set up a basic website, and then to get started eventually with AdSense, AdWords, Google Plus Local, all of their other products. Those are not yet integrated, but the writing's on the wall because Google's already partnered with Squarespace and some other companies for the website portion. So it only makes sense that at some point those other partners, Google's basically going to tell those partners, hey, you know what? You should be giving all of your members $50 in free AdWords credit to get started today. The writing's on the wall. That's the direction Google's headed. So the functionality is very minimal. Like James said, it gets the job done. I don't feel comfortable moving my portfolio over yet. It is still a beta product. I moved one. Unlike James, I don't have 30. I have an undisclosed amount. But I moved one as a test, an inactive domain, so I didn't have to worry about records dropping or anything. That process was fine. The biggest issue I've run into so far is that unlike other companies, there's no way to transfer a domain between Google Domains accounts without doing a full transfer. And for anybody that does professional domain flipping or they own a large portfolio of domains that are occasionally switching hands, that is troublesome. And the reason it's troublesome is because there's no way to diversify your portfolio across several accounts for security purposes or otherwise without doing a full transfer. And a full transfer has some limitations. You can't do 2 full transfers within 60 days of each other. There's a nominal fee involved each time you do it, and it's a process where you got to send emails, and it's a process, and it shouldn't be. I've already contacted support and sent feedback. They're aware of it, but for me, it's a blocker at the moment. It's a blocking issue that's preventing me from moving more of my domains over. I'm also not really sure I feel comfortable putting domains under Google's control. Not that there's any issue with that. It's just kind of all your eggs in one basket issue for me. Some of my domains, I have different domains for different purposes, for different reasons, from different people, with varying purposes. So I don't know that their terms of service aren't clear as to, like, how do you phrase that? Like Namecheap, for example, has been very clear that they don't touch your domains. There are some DNS companies out there, the ones that, for example, denied government requests to shut down WikiLeaks. So when a company does something like that, you know that they're going to stand up for you, even if they have no need to ever stand up for you. It's nice to know. And Google hasn't been real clear about that. So I don't feel comfortable moving a large portfolio of assets under their control until I see something along that lines. But on the technical level, pushing the domains between accounts is really bugging me. It's really bugging me.
Well, I think that I think all eggs in one basket, I think, is a really good point. My wife and I are very happy with Google, and I've used Host My Site, or Host, one of those ones that it uses another registrar out of Australia anyway. But the point is that I think what you're looking for in regard to the whole, like, moving them around quickly and diversifying a portfolio of domains, like you said, the marketing material does not show that that's what they're trying to do. So you're not going to get that type of tool set, at least not now. If Google decides, one day that, because if you look at it in another way, like the Google, your Gmail account, if you put all the authentication on it and you get it all locked down, you've got a really secure email address. So if you could put it under that account, that's going to be super secure. So I like that part, but I guess you're right, having it under one basket. And then again, they don't have the portfolio type tool set, so that would be kind of difficult.
Agreed. The other thing to note that has me curious is the typical Google one hand's not talking to another. Google Domains is a newer project. It's in beta. But Google, as a company, also has a subsidiary called Charleston Road Registry. And they are currently tasked with setting up some of the new top-level domains, like .soy. It's the one that they just launched. It's Latin. Is it Spanish for I am? It translates to I am, so it's .iam, but it's a different language. And Google Domains does not support that top-level domain, even though Google is the company in charge of it. So if you buy one of those domains, Google gets your money, but Google's not willing to sell you one. And I'm not sure if that's a conflict of interest and they're purposely kind of straying away, but Name.com doesn't seem to have any problems, and they're owned by, it's not On Demand Media anymore, it's Rightside.co, which is, they also own Enom, which resells to companies like Namecheap. If you're ever interested in a corporate monopoly, Name.com is a good one to follow the money. They're a good example of consolidation in the domain space.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I know anything about domain names. I know nothing about domains.
It'd be interesting if Google's smart. They'll incorporate some kind of really light version of AdWords into Google Domains. If you ever log into an AdWords account, you're just bombarded with tons of options and information, and it's very scary. But if there was sort of a really simple version within Google Domains where once they get their website set up with Wix or Weebly or Squarespace, they can choose a few options, daily budget, throw some keywords in there, and start advertising their website on Google right away without having to open a super confusing AdWords account or pay someone like me a ton of money to operate a super confusing AdWords account, they, with a few clicks of a button, could get a simple ad up on Google. I think that would be really smart, and I think it would fit in with their current marketing strategy of, like Craig said, getting people online and getting found on Google. Because just right now, buying a domain on Google Domains, that doesn't make you show up any higher on Google than somebody who bought their domain at GoDaddy.
Nor should it.
Right, and it would be ridiculous if that was the case, but it's not the case. So, but GoDaddy used to offer a really dumbed-down version of AdWords. They also somehow managed to wreck the UI because that's what GoDaddy does, but it was simpler than AdWords. But it was AdWords. I mean, you set up a few settings in GoDaddy, and then you could advertise on Google and Bing and Yahoo, I think. So I think I would not be surprised. GoDaddy doesn't have that service anymore. If everyone is logging in their GoDaddy account, all of a sudden they got rid of it. But I think it'd be a great idea if Google implemented something like that. And also if they could integrate, well, the 4 companies that they partner with for websites, I think most of them have AdSense integration already. Like Wix, you can integrate AdSense ads, Weebly. So that's pretty much already taken care of.
Yeah, I think the pressure will come from it'll come from Google, but it'll be on the third parties. Because you have to have access to the website in order to add the analytics codes and track, like when you show an ad, if people are actually landing and on-site time and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Right. You wouldn't have all that advanced settings and tracking, most likely. If it would just be something where you throw up an ad, and about the most you could track is how many clicks you had on that particular ad.
no, I disagree. I think the way Google should do it, if they're smart, would be to give the third parties that are willing to integrate with Google Domains access to private APIs to customize like an AdWords layout, and still keep those advanced features turned on and live. Maybe don't show them by default. Maybe have an advanced toggle or something, but make sure that data is still there because it's going to be stored in Google Analytics anyway. It's just the UI, the front end. So I think Google needs to partner with those companies and then have Squarespace basically allow the person to put their analytics code in their template. And then you get all the details.
I'm pretty sure that's already a thing. I mean, like Wix, maybe not. I feel like that should be a thing. It should be easy to go into Wix and click a button that says Enable Google Analytics. What's your UI ID? You type in your 8-digit ID, because you can do that with WordPress. You know, an analytics plugin, you just type in your ID, and it puts it in there. So if that's not already a thing, you're right. That should definitely be a thing for all 4 of those partners.
I think, I'm sure it is a thing, but I think it should be completely seamless. Because if you buy your domain through Google Domain and you tie that to a Wix account or a Squarespace account, they're connected. So you should have access to.
You wouldn't even have to find your UI ID at that point.
Exactly. Seamless.
It would all just integrate.
Yeah, we'll never see it.
Maybe.
On a side note, the bell icon has turned into a jack-o'-lantern that when you click it, it like lights up and stuff.
Get out of here.
I'm not seeing that yet. What page are you looking at? Gmail or?
You know what I'm looking at. Looking at inbox.
Oh, and that stupid app.
I can't even check. This is just the worst product launch ever.
How do I get that? I don't see a jack-o'-lantern. I'm sad. Inbox knows I don't like it.
Let me go to
It's messing with me.
Let me go to G Plus and see if it's there too.
Oh, you have to have no notifications. Let me swipe them all away real quick. The jack-o'-lantern. Oh,
that's right.
That's it.
Just like my inbox, no life.
Going back to Gmail.
Notification.
That did it. Okay. Mr. Jingles is dressed up for trick or treat.
There you go. Bam. That's cute and fun. I like it. I like it. All right, so we covered domains. Craig, we'll end on a high note. Okay. I guess that we're getting rid of Image Burner, but we do know after reading a great article by somebody that there's a brand new tool that replaces Image Burner anyway. So, what are your thoughts on the Image Burner removal?
Did I write that article? My brain's going.
You did. You did.
Okay. But that was months ago. Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, yeah. That was months and months and months and months.
Yeah, that's why you confused me. So the tool has been out for months. It's not a new thing, unfortunately. I'm sorry John built that up to more than it was. It's the newish Chromebook recovery utility, and it's available for Chrome OS and Windows. I think Mac and Linux support is very close if it's not already supported. Basically, it allows you to create your recovery devices on computers that aren't your Chromebook, which is just phenomenally helpful. Because if your Chromebook is in a state of distress, it would be really nice if you could create a recovery device using a different machine. And thankfully, that's what the app does. Clap your hands.
Exactly how new is that ability? Because I thought that's how it's always been. Because I didn't know that it was ever not like that.
The Image Burner tool would only create a recovery device for the device you were using it on. So, for example, if you plug a flash drive into the Acer C720 Chromebook, you fire up Image Burner, it will create a flash drive that can fix an Acer C720 Chromebook.
Could you always jump on a Windows machine and create an image for any Chromebook you chose, or is that part of the newish thing?
Part of the newish thing. That was Image Burner is exclusive to Chrome OS.
Yeah, it's a Chrome OS command line function, actually.
Well, it actually
Essentially.
Just let them have that one, Craig.
I know. Come on.
Well,
No.
It's interesting because it actually uses a set of private whitelisted APIs.
Right, I was going to say.
When they tried to gut it, I know I interrupted. When they tried to gut Image Burner, they actually had to leave one of the APIs because the new tool is also relying on a whitelisted API for access to the raw USBs. So they didn't gut all of it, just most of it.
There you go.
And so the details, John.
Yes.
Anyone that tries to access Chrome Image Burner, the web page will be redirected to the Help Center, where they will be told to download the app, and that redirect is currently slated to stay in place for a year, and then it will disappear. Poof. This should be a milestone 40. It might get pushed back to 41, 42. We can expect that maybe in December, but there's a development freeze, so it might be January-ish before we actually see that. People know about the development freeze. Yeah.
I was just going to say, come again?
Twice a year, Google has a development freeze across all of their products, and it's on the developer calendar. But
for Christmas?
Well, they do a development freeze to strategize, so they make sure everybody's on the same page.
It's for Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. That's what it's for.
But it's twice a year, isn't it?
Well, yeah, then you gotta have the summer break.
No one gets a break. Trust me.
This is Google. They have food every 15 feet from your desk.
These poor developers do not get a break. They do not. Huh. It doesn't actually say the second one, but yeah, December 16th / January 6th, somewhere in there will be something. All I know is that... Okay, hang on a second. I think there was just a Chrome OS update. Yeah, the beta channel just updated. Updated to 39. All devices except the Asus Chromebox, Dell Chromebox, Samsung Chromebox. Bug fixes, security updates, feature enhancements, yada yada. I love Pushbullet.
That's awesome.
I'm on beta, so I should be getting that pretty soon.
Yeah, just go to Chrome Help and press the check for updates button. They changed that again.
I was going to be a patient young man
Don't.
and wait my turn.
No, don't.
So
Go get it now. And when you're downloading it, do me a favor, and listeners, feel free to do it too. On the beta channel or the dev channel, if you notice that the extension icons in the upper right-hand corner disappear, like there's space for them, but their icons are missing, let us know. Reach out to me on Google+. I will redirect you to the product forum thread we've got watching that. It is, the tracker has it as a P1. So it's something that the team is really trying to investigate before they're willing to let Milestone 39 go stable. I don't think it's marked as a blocker issue yet, but I suspect it should be.
wait a minute, what's the issue?
The extension icons in the top right corner disappear. And
They're still there if you hover over the area and you can click on them and they work. It's like the image was replaced by a transparent GIF.
Right, and James has actually experienced it, and he's helping to triage it. The other issue that we're currently watching, it's a doozy. There is an update rolling out this week that some users are reporting keyboard issues with, like an inability to log in because their password gets funky when they try to type it in. If that happens to you, product forum. We have threads monitoring it. If we get enough noise, the team is going to consider taking action to minimize damage. But we need noise, so we need to know the scope. And at the moment, there's a limited number of affected users.
Is this happening on HP devices, do we know, or is it happening on any device?
We have no idea. We need help finding out. So if you experience the issue, if you know your version number and device name, model number, it helps. We need to know how many devices are affected, specific versions to look for what changes could have caused it. Right now, it just started today, so we're kind of flying blind at the moment. Any details are helpful.
I remember following a while ago somebody was having an issue like that. A certain keystroke would produce a certain string of letters and symbols, and I googled that string of letters and symbols, and everything I saw was various HP users, not Chromebooks, just HP Windows users, all over the place were having this weird issue. It wasn't always the same keystroke that produced this string, but it was the same string of letters and symbols. And an HP Chromebook user was complaining about it in the forum, and that's when I started Googling that string of letters and found out that a whole bunch of other random HP users were having that. So I don't know if it's similar, if it's the same issue. Could be something completely separate, but I just remember dealing with that a while ago.
If you can find that, send me the link. In the meantime, I'll send you the link to the thread we're monitoring, and you can look and see if it rings any bells.
Sounds good.
Because yeah, that would be a big breakthrough. I know that it's a little chaotic at the moment. Little chaotic.
all right, well. I'm looking for, and this is where I'm gonna like show my my lack of knowledge. So Craig said, "Oh, if you want the newest version, go to." Oh wait, you weren't talking about Chrome OS. You were talking about Chrome browser when you were talking about the updated beta version, or were you talking about Chrome OS?
Chrome OS and the dev channel on Chrome OS just updated to milestone 40.
That's pretty cool. But how do I update it though? Because if I go to About,
Don't go to About, go to Help.
right? But if I go to Help, if I go not Settings, hold on. If I go to help me. So if I go to help, and then Get Help, which is the only option I have,
What?
it just sends me to
No, stop.
stop
In your Omni bar,
in my Omnibar.
replace the word About with the word Help.
What?
Trust me.
Help,
Press enter.
help me.
Updating your device.
So here's why this is like totally janky and it pisses me off that you said do this and I do it and I'm like, oh, is the fact that this says about, not help.
Right. This has been a nightmare. I think I'm allowed to say that I'm ticked about this. This is something that came up. I don't know why they even decided to do this. All right, so for context, the team is currently in process of building a real packaged settings app. Not like a settings app that's just a window by itself, but a real material design styled settings app.
Okay.
So that's the long-term plan. In the meantime, they decided to just start messing with the About page, the settings page. They took away the navigation on the left, so if you click your profile picture and then you press settings, there's
Right.
no longer About on the left. That disappeared.
Exactly. I hate that.
Right, and
if you go to extensions, you still see that because there's extensions still has that listing of the other couple things.
right. So it's an inconsistent experience, and the worst part of all is the link to get to About. They hid. If you scroll to the you can't because you're now on beta. On stable, you have to scroll to the bottom of the page and click on your version number to pull up that page.
Oh, come on!
And the worst part is the version number doesn't look like a link.
No, but it doesn't. Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you. They should take that away.
We caught this on the beta channel when people first started complaining, and I brought it up. And it was too late, so the team shipped it to stable. And of course, mass confusion ensued. So the team has now responded and said, yes, that's a bad choice. So they're going to fix it by placing the About link at the top of the settings page. It's going to go to the left of the search settings box, which is helpful, but it'll be like 2 or 3. Well, they may merge it back into 38. It may end up being in a minor release.
Okay.
But it still caused all of the damage already. It's already confused people. You can't unconfuse people.
No, you cannot confuse people. I agree. You cannot confuse people.
So I feel your pain, John. I am
Yeah.
frustrated too.
I was pissed off. I was like, Craig told me it was going to be there, and it's not there.
That's how people responded. People were. We had probably. I'd have to check my documentation, but we had, I would say, 10 or 15 Google Plus posts of people asking where it went. Why did Google take it away? Because when you can't find it, you assume it was removed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. It was hidden.
And it's not about. It's help.
Right. But typing help in directly gets you that page. It's a shortcut that they... it's a mess.
No.
It's a mess.
It's you can't type in. You mean help in the no, it doesn't work there either.
No,
Just-
it has to be Chrome.
Right. That's what I mean. I'm saying.
It's hidden.
Mm-hmm.
It's hidden.
All right. Well, I double checked my inbox and I still have this wonderful sun, so I feel like I have nothing to do. It's awesome. I like it a lot. You can't take that away from me. You just can't. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about this week? More fun things we could.
I think just to quickly highlight it, Asus launched the C200 and C300 Chromebooks in Australia.
Mhm.
The colorful ones that were like red, blue, and yellow or whatever. And Dinson over at Chrome Story found a mention that Chrome apps are going to be integrated in Windows for like full screen mode and file type associations. So you'll be able to tell Windows that when it comes across this file extension, open it with a Chrome app.
Oh, they finally got that fixed. Cool.
It's on the way. I don't know that it's been committed, And then Dinson also found, and there's major props for this, the team is working on a VPN API, which would allow third parties to write apps to configure Chrome OS's VPNs. I also attended a Chrome OS for Business hangout. That was invite, but they covered that, and they said they're the ones. It's enterprise pushing it for things like I think Cisco has a solution where they want to build an app so that you can just deploy the app and users are just connected. But I think for the consumer space, it's going to be excellent. I would love TunnelBear to write an app.
Okay.
They're my favorite VPN provider. They're based in Canada. Very nice people. They have a likeness for puns, bear-related puns. It's fantastic and awful. Don't get me wrong. It's awful, but it's so much fun.
Cool. I have a question for you guys. And so what this is a solution to a problem of mine using a possible, you know how it is. You're always trying to find a workaround for something. And I bought the Shadowrun game for Android, which if you're into the Shadowrun series, it's pretty wicked. It's magic. It's cyber. It's all cool stuff. It's very futuristic, apocalyptic stuff. But the screen of my phone, which is not a small phone by any means, it's the Moto X first generation, and so it's a good 4.5, 5-inch screen or whatever, and the text is so small on this game, right? Because it's kind of like a role playing game type thing. There's a lot of text going back and forth on the screen. And it's so small. I feel like an old man. I'm like, what does it say? And I have to get in there real close, and I'm all staring at my screen real hard, and my eyes hurt. So, what are you guys' thoughts on running apps on Chrome OS? What's your experience that you've had so far? I know Craig's like, I haven't touched it with a 10-foot pole.
And running Android apps on Chrome?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had any experience with it yet, besides seeing people posting about it. Of all the apps that have officially been ported over to work on a Chromebook, I had heard of one of them. I think Evernote is one of them that works on Chrome. The other apps I've never even heard of, so I've had zero experience running an Android app on my Chromebook.
Okay. Good. We're talking. So basically, you can't help me. That's what you're saying.
I got nothing.
Craig, why won't you touch it? Because that's going to be okay. So here's the thing. I'm a guy. I'm out there, and I have a problem, and I want my game on a bigger screen. So I says to myself, I see a lot of people posting what James is saying, that they're putting Android apps on their Chromebooks. And the thought in my head is, sweet, I'll have a huge screen. I'll be able to play this game that I purchased. It's like a $5 game or whatever. And I'll be able to play it and not have to all squinty my eyes.
3 major problems.
Okay.
Compatibility, security, and copyright infringement. Compatibility is obvious. Not every Android app is going to work in a hacked environment, or in the official environment for that matter. Security, if you're the type of person that's grabbing APAC files off the internet and just trusting that whoever gave them to you is trustworthy, that's a bad idea. The way Chrome OS is doing it, they're not relying on the signed codes for installs or anything to verify anything. So you're really trusting that the APAC hasn't been modified in transit. And what the Tor network just found recently, that some of their exit nodes were modifying executables while in transit. So you can't trust anything. Nothing. It's possible that the person serving you the file is completely trustworthy, and your ISP or a man in the middle somewhere along the line is swapping it out with a different file before it gets to you. So I do not recommend that. And then the last thing is potential for copyright infringement. Because the developers, even for free apps for Android, they haven't licensed them for redistribution over the web. So the sites that are sharing APACs are most likely violating copyright, one way or another, unless the developer has specifically said it's A-OK in writing somewhere would be preferred. But most developers haven't, and Skype is certainly not. I'm sure Microsoft didn't give the go-ahead on that. So, come on. But those are the 3 reasons why we don't allow it in the Google Plus Chromebooks community. It's not because Google told us, oh, you can't talk about it or shut it down or whatever. It was a choice the moderation team made for those 3 reasons. And we do allow discussion, even tutorials. We just don't allow links to the APAC files themselves because you're not going to stop people from doing things. And honestly, it's really freaking cool. I love that they were able to do it. I have utmost respect for the technical genius it took to hijack the official method of doing something within a week and be able to open the floodgates like that. But at the same time, security is a big issue. Compatibility is a big issue when you look at someone that buys a Chromebook thinking that they're going to be able to run Skype using this unofficial method. And then their first experience is, oh, it doesn't work. This Chromebook is junk. So to the brand, compatibility is important. It's easy to confuse the sanctioned apps versus the unofficial apps when you're just installing everything and anything. And then, of course, copyright infringement is something that, because we're hosted on Google Plus, we have to abide by their terms of service, which means complying with United States law. So,
Shucks.
go for it, John. I just can't help you.
Right? No, I'm with you. There's no way I'm going to take someone else's APK. That's number one. And also, that's just another reason why you should sign your software, because if the executable changes halfway through.
Well, the signing that Android uses is actually pretty secure, but it doesn't translate to this because it's completely emulated and everything else. So I'm not really read up on the technical details, but my understanding is you're essentially ripping the APAC, ripping what's inside of it, discarding all of the signatures and unnecessary stuff, and then shoving files into an emulator, and then running that on top of the Chrome runtime. So by opening it up, you're basically saying, hey, I'm going to pour this water directly into my nose. If anything's in it, just go right on it in the bloodstream.
It's like one of those potty thingies. What are they called?
Neti pots, yeah.
Neti
Those
pots.
things are dangerous, people.
I know they're very dangerous. They're terrible for you.
If you boil the water and stuff, it's a
It's
little
fine.
less. But
Otherwise
yeah,
you get
people,
your bacteria.
come on, people.
Come
Oh,
on.
goodness. We're turning this into a PSA.
It's like that. You see someone using it. As soon as you see them, this should be your thought in your head. Because bacteria is just driving itself into their brain.
Oh, speaking of that, Easy Unlock is on the way.
What? Oh yeah, the NFC chip with your phone.
Not NFC, Bluetooth.
Okay, Bluetooth.
Basically, you add your phone as a trusted device, and then as long as your phone is near your Chromebook, it's unlocked. It is sort of working on Android L, and I have confirmations that it's supposed to work on Android L. Whether it does or not at the moment is iffy, but that it is coming. It's official at this point. I think there are a few strings that they're changing, some phrasing, and I think the name is actually going to be something else. I think it's Safe Unlock or Safe Lock or something.
I don't know if I like that. I mean, it's one thing to unlock your phone with your Bluetooth. But if you leave your phone at your desk, I think we've had this conversation. If you leave your phone at your desk, your computer's now completely unlocked. So, you know what I mean? Like that, I don't know.
I won't use it. I'll play with it and get the experience, but I'm not going to use it.
Yeah. James,
I
what
don't
about
think
you?
it's gonna work.
I wasn't paying attention. If you have two-step authentication enabled, do you still have to do that even with the Easy Unlock?
We don't know yet.
Because that would, I mean, that would help with the issue. I mean, we had this discussion kind of if you leave your security lane around, well, the person still needs to know your password. So with this, if you leave your phone laying around and they try to log in, at least hopefully they would also still have to go through the two-step authentication to get in if you have that enabled.
Well, it wouldn't be any big deal if the phone trusts the Chromebook and the Chromebook trusts the phone. Then you would just open up the app and generate a 6-digit PIN.
Ooh. Wait, are they supposed to trust each other? Did you just say they trust each other?
Android L supports it.
So you're saying that trusted devices literally would work across two separate devices? Because like right now I have a Bluetooth, and that's you don't need to trust anything with that, right? But now you're talking about the fact that you would take your locked phone, your locked Chromebook, whence the two should meet, they both become an unlocked device.
It's possible. Android L lets you disable the lock screen if you've got a trusted Bluetooth nearby, and Chromebooks are supposed to do the same thing, so unless there's something that prevents it, conceivably, it's logically possible. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
That's asking for trouble.
I would do it for my Chromebox because my Chromebox doesn't go anywhere. It's in my attic. The odds of anybody stealing my phone and then breaking into my home and going upstairs and using it to sneak into my Chromebox are pretty slim. I probably would not enable it on my Chromebook that I carry around with me and leave at the table at Starbucks when I go to the bathroom, because that would just be silly. But I wouldn't really see a security issue enabling this on my Chromebox. So,
Well,
but
Bluetooth spoofing is my biggest concern. I know there's been progress there, but if your Chromebox was stolen, for example, if they could spoof the Bluetooth connection and make your Chromebox think that a trusted device was nearby, then your Chromebox is unlocked and you bypass all of the verified boot and everything. All of the Chrome OS protections are bunk.
this is assuming somebody wants to get into my stuff so badly that they break into my house, go upstairs, see this tiny little box on my desk, know that it's actually a computer, know what a Chromebook even is and what Easy Unlock is, and steals it and leaves my home with it, and then spoofs the Bluetooth.
Well, I guess
I'm
you
willing
don't
to take
have,
that risk.
I guess you don't have enemies, James.
Not smart ones.
I am probably a little over paranoid. I freely admit that. But when you get notifications every now and then saying, "Oh, your account has been," you get those little notifications. Somebody's tried to access your account. You get enough of those, you get a little paranoid.
Yep. They forced me to change my password once because of that. It always was an option. They said, somebody tried to access your account. You might want to think about changing your password. Got that a few times. One day, Google was like, yeah, someone tried to access your account. You now need to change your password. Which was really annoying because my password didn't have to have a number in it when I first signed up at Gmail. Now, Google's requirements include a number. So I had to pick a whole new password to work with Google because they decided that I just needed to change my password one day.
Are you? I don't mean to be condescending, but are you sure that wasn't a phishing page? Yes, that seems like exactly what it would ask you to do.
Yeah, me too.
It may have been, but my Google password is different now.
Yeah, but you can forward that type of thing along. A lot of phishing pages actually do log you into the banking site, for example.
Craig, stop. I have control of his account right now. Stop. Tell him what's going on. No.
I don't remember how it all went down. I hope I would be smart enough to not click the link and just go to Google and log into my settings and change my password. But I'm pretty sure this happened. You know what? Now that I think about it, this happened when I went to log into Gmail. I went to gmail.com, and instead of logging me in like it always does, it told me that I had to change my password before I could log in. It's all coming back to me now.
Wait, were you in a coffee shop at the time?
No. It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Wait, how frequently do you change your password if this was a long time ago?
Pretty much never.
Oh, God. I give
unless
up.
Google tells me I have to. I'm not important enough to worry about these things.
You are.
Nobody wants my identity.
Listen, just for giggles here, let me tell you this is gonna be my Jerry Springer final thought, and that is, if you don't like changing your password, like most people, James, you're not. Craig's giving you the business because something on my sweater. Because common IT practice is 30 or 90 days, right? And that's because of the fact that you gave it to someone you trusted with a long time ago, and now they'll still have access, or you wrote it down somewhere, or whatever. And there's just the possibility that someone might have known that password at some point in time. So that's why they always do the whole, every 90 days or every 30 days, depending. So
that way I have to write it down more so I can remember it, making it more likely somebody will find it.
I'm about to give you a trick, okay? And the trick is, and I read this on a blog a long time ago, and the trick is to make a password every 3 months or 30 days, either one, but make it a goal, right? So, like, if you want to lose 30 pounds, bear with me here. That means that every time if you want to save $50 a month so that you can buy your wife a really awesome, amazing anniversary gift at the end of the year.
Still not with you, but go on.
If you want to save for college,
just give up. Continue.
So you have a goal, right? Mm-hmm. And so you could actually make the goal like, lose 30, lose 30 today, or put down that sandwich, exclamation point, or, right, or, 50 from a honey, exclamation point. You know what I mean? So you can make it something that would be memorable. It's a goal, so that way every time you type it in, you're reminded of it, right?
I don't understand.
Quit drinking, quit smoking, stop the smack. Stuff like that I've used constantly, but it doesn't work.
Well, that's because I already don't want to change my password. So having to change my password the prize for losing 30 pounds is not going to help me lose 30 pounds. Maybe I'm not understanding your trick.
No. James,
are you saying every time I cheat on my diet, I have to change my password so that deters me from cheating on my diet?
No. Your password is supposed to be a daily mantra. It's supposed to be the thing that keeps you going. It's supposed to be the
So my password should be "You're fat. Put down the fork." 1492. And then once I'm not fat anymore, I can pick a new password that says "You're broke." 1973, and then when I stop my horrible spending habits, I can change my password again. That's what you're saying?
Sort of. Like, change in individuals takes time, right? Especially for adults. So anything though that you do 8 times and has a positive impact, you're going to do it more and more. So if you give yourself this mantra, which some people don't like mantras, they especially don't like the word mantra, or like a post-it note that you read to yourself, I am special, I am going to do good today, everyone loves me, hug, right? It's not like that. It's a daily mantra of something to remind you that you need to be that day. You need to be mindful of one thing. I don't know. Just name something that you want to make yourself better at. Consider it like have you ever heard of break the chain? Don't break the chain. Have you ever heard of that to-do list thing? It's called Don't Break the Chain. And basically, if you're trying to build a website or write a book or learn code, and you don't have that much time every day to do it, but you tell yourself, I will give myself at least 10 minutes every single day to get this. I'm going off on a tangent, but if you give yourself 10 minutes, they call it Don't Break the Chain because you mark the calendar, and the calendar is the chain because you put an X in the day. So when you make an X in a square, and then you make the X's together, that makes a chain, right? And don't break the chain. Every day you code for 10 minutes. Every day you write a paragraph for that novel, or you come up with a character plot, or you know what I mean? Like that's called don't break the chain. Well, this is the same type of thing, but it's you're saying something to yourself by creating a password that you must type in every day. Am I losing you here?
You lost me
I'm
about 5 minutes ago.
I'm confused as to why John knows so much about self-motivation.
He's
Is there
writing a book,
some
10
sort of-
minutes a day.
Is there some sort of issues that we need to address?
Listen, I gotta stop going to McDonald's, actually to Costco and eating their hot dogs. I gotta stop the smack. I gotta stop. I gotta stop
You
drinking.
go to Costco to eat hot dogs?
I
Every
do.
day.
Listen. Here's the thing.
I'm not judging because I go to gas stations to eat hot dogs every day.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because here's what you do. You walk into Costco, right? And the whole point of Costco, as in any big box store, is that they lead you down the path, right? And the hot dogs are at the end of the path. So what are you going to do in between? You're going to snack on their free samples, right? So you're going to have a smorgasbord of food by the time you get around to the hot dog, right? So you've now had delicacies.
That doesn't seem worth driving to the next town over to go to Costco.
Oh, well, I got a Costco next to work, so.
I go to Come and Go so I can use Google Wallet Tap and Pay to buy my hot dogs.
We should have talked about that whole thing,
There's
man.
no other reason.
That was big news. Okay, right, okay. Good point.
It was
Craig,
pretty nice.
Yeah, so it's $1.59, and I even there on the very end is the guy giving out like the cookies. So he's like the last guy I hit with my round of samples. So I grabbed the cookie, I fold it into its little thing, I tuck it into my pocket, and then I eat my hot dog. Now I have dessert. That's right.
Is this every day or like only on Sundays? This can't be every day you get a free lunch.
$1.59 for a soda and a large hot dog with their enormous and if you ask for sauerkraut, they'll give it to you.
First of all, why the hell would I ask for sauerkraut? Second of all, there is no second of all. Why the hell would you ask for sauerkraut on a hot dog?
We're gonna get John the help he needs.
So for
Please send us Bitcoin. We're raising Bitcoin to help John.
so
Therapies.
James, so my point is, I could make it a password that says, "Quit with the friggin' hot dogs, you fatty 2014," or I could say, "Do you know what's in a hot dog? Stop it!" You know what
Just
I mean?
list the ingredients of hot dogs as your password.
I'm saying, this is a good way to change your password. I'm just trying to give you an idea, because this is. I think Craig makes a valid point. You're supposed to change your password. No one does, but Craig's bringing up a valid point about password security. So that's all I'm saying. And that was just a trick tool that I use. and don't hit me up on the whole look. Of course I know don't break the chain. Don't break the chain is actually a very good. There's Pomodoro tricks. There's don't break the chain. There's remember the milk. There's all kinds of to-do type self-motivation / get things done.
But the chain you were describing, a chain made of X's, is not structurally secure, John. It's a weak chain. This is the problem.
Well, I'm just saying. You're right. But
Plus, the biggest problem with using a mantra as your password is that if somebody does manage to steal that, they have your mantra. They have everything you live for.
not necessarily. But they might have that 3-month goal. So, anyway.
Plus, I mean, you run the risk of coming up to somebody with the same goal as you, and then you've got the same password. There's risks involved.
Now you're just
Is somebody guessing your password because they know what your goal is?
Oh yeah, and for some people, I mean, it's visible.
Right, so
Mr. Hot Dog.
Exactly. Some of the cashiers at Costco are like, I know that guy's password.
So, are you on a first name basis with the cashiers?
I don't know their first name, but I do know them, and they see me and they're like, hot dog, and I'm like, you know it.
Well, maybe next time you should read the badge, John. They're people too.
Right?
I don't think they wear those. They
You're
don't.
just taking advantage of these people.
They don't wear badges. I will find out. Next time, listen, I will find out.
Okay, let us know tomorrow.
I will. I will.
Or tonight when you get back from Costco with your hot dog.
I will. I will.
They're open late, right?
I will take a snapshot of that bad boy and show you the awesome sauerkraut onion, because they have this chopping machine that you just rotate this little wheel and it chops.
You know what? We're mean, but you're a good sport.
Sauerkraut, onion,
But you do need to learn when to stop talking.
relish. It's got a bunch. It's good. All right.
You're making it worse.
All right. All right. Anything else that we could talk about in the Chrome world, or maybe even security?
Well, I guess the currency versus wallet and Apple Pay would take like 6 hours.
Currency. Doesn't that sound like a vitamin you're supposed to take?
No, it sounds like a form of payment.
Rhymes with currency.
It's pronounced currency. It doesn't rhyme. It's pronounced.
But it's current C. That's the whole
Currency pissed me off. Here's why. Because I'm using an HTC DNA, have been for a year and a half, and until KitKat, Google Wallet didn't even work. Because I don't know why. Verizon made up some bullcrap about it needing a secure part of the phone that Verizon wasn't willing to give up. But they conveniently had their own ISIS mobile wallet to replace it. And then KitKat comes around, and now I can actually use Google Wallet Tap to Pay on my phone. And we have CVS's around here that I could use Tap to Pay with, but now they're blocking Google Wallet and Apple Pay for their own stupid currency app, which I refuse to use, because the whole Tap and Pay is supposed to be convenient, and it's not convenient when I have to remember, okay, I'm going here, so I need to use this Tap and Pay app. I'm going over here, I need to use that Tap and Pay app. So I'm a little peeved. The Come and Go gas station right now is the only place I'm aware of in my area that lets me use Google Wallet besides the vending machines at GoDaddy, which I no longer have access to. Apparently CVS used to work with Google Wallet, but by the time I figured that out, they'd already blocked it and started using currency.
right.
It's worth noting that currency hasn't launched yet. That's the worst part.
Well,
But
okay.
they've already blocked Google Wallet and Apple Pay.
Right. But you can't use it yet.
So the reason I made that joke about the currency is it's current, capital C-U-R-R-E-N-T-C, capital C on the end of the word current. So it's like the word current with an extra C on the very end, large, right? Capital. And to me, it looks like that one of those drugs we used to take. I think it's still out there for to keep yourself immune from the cold, common cold or whatever. So that's what's funny about it. Current C. Anyway. So here's the crux of that issue, and that is credit cards. And the credit card companies are making so much money, it's ridiculous, right? But they also have to pay for fraud and all that kind of stuff. So like the stuff that we don't see happening when you hear a buddy say, "Oh yeah, my credit card number was stolen." No, I didn't have to pay anything. Well, how did that happen? Well, that's because the credit cards took on the liability and the fraud, of those transactions, even though you might have done something stupid and left your credit card somewhere, right? Or that someone stole it off the internet. It wasn't your fault. Someone stole it, had a man in the middle, whatever, right? So that's why they have those fees on credit cards. That's why credit cards have exchange fees, things like that, and that's why they make money. Well, Walmart and them don't want to pay the extra 3 to 5 to whatever 1 to 5% per sale to the credit card company. Instead, they want to use this new one, which Google Wallet and Apple Pay all use a credit card on the back end to pay the fees, right? Or to pay the charges. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to really cut out the credit cards. And if they do succeed, if currency becomes which everyone's jumping on board because no one wants to pay them. I mean, 7-Eleven, They fought the credit cards for their RRGs fees for years. I'm sure that they're going to be on board, and then Walmart's like, oh yeah, because they can either A, lower prices or keep the prices the same and make more money if they use it instead of using credit cards. So there's a huge benefit to the and they think that the consumer benefit's also there because you're not going to get sucked into using your credit card for doing that. So it's a volatile issue.
May I raise the complaints?
Sure.
Okay. First off, you're absolutely correct about the fees. That is, or at least was, the driving force of change here. A lot of these retailers signed binding contracts years ago. They're not jumping on board now. They jumped on board before. And now that they see what currency actually is, many of them are getting cold feet, and rightly so. Number one, you're ticking off Google and Apple, which is a dangerous combination. And Microsoft's in there too, but not very much. Google Wallet and Apple Pay both do use credit cards, but they do it in a secure way. And the way that works is every time you tap your phone, Google and Apple generate a single-use credit card number, a temporary credit card number that they give to the retailer, which means that when you hear about the Home Depot getting hacked, the Home Depot doesn't have credit card numbers from when you paid off the wallet. They do, but those credit card numbers were single-use credit card numbers. So it's very secure for both the consumer, the retailer, and the payment provider, whether it's Google or Apple. Currency links directly to your bank account. They also require a social security number and a driver's license to sign up. Their website has already been hacked once, and the app hasn't launched yet. Now, granted, the app will probably be more secure than the website was, but it's not a good sign. They've made some enemies, clearly, with the internet. Again, their app hasn't launched yet, but they're already forcing retailers to stop accepting Apple Pay and Google Wallet, which is nonsense, in my opinion. The biggest confusion for me is why aren't stores using Bitcoin? The barrier of entry for the average consumer is relatively similar. Because if you look at how currency works, this is where it gets fun. The point-of-sale terminal shows you a QR code. You open the app on your phone, you scan their barcode on your phone, you authorize the payment, and then the cashier has to scan your phone. And there's a second barcode on it. That is very difficult for the average person to use. I don't know if either of you have ever watched an average person try to use a smartphone. It's like a car accident. It's hard to look away from, but it's terrifying at the same time. And this is going to be linked directly to bank accounts. Directly to bank accounts, which do not offer fraud protection in most cases.
No, and here and Craig, that's a good point. You have like something like 7 days to report the loss, and once you do report the loss, it is incredibly difficult to get the money back in your bank account because it's basically a wire transfer out of your account.
Exactly.
The money's gone.
Right, and you're helping the retailer with that information. And retailers do not have a great track record of having secure systems and allotting the proper amount of funds to IT departments as needed. Because a lot of retailers view IT as a cost instead of as a ongoing requirement of doing business. So, the reality is consumers are not happy because retailers are now blocking your ability to choose how you pay. Retailers are thrilled because they only have one infrastructure to tap into now, rather than having to support Apple Pay and Google Wallet through NFC, their traditional point of sale using cash, their traditional point of sale using credit, but they are still needing to integrate their infrastructure with currency, and that's where the Bitcoin argument comes in. It's relatively similar to integrate with currency as it is to integrate with Bitcoin. Either way, you're going to spend millions of dollars integrating your point of sale systems with that type of payment. But Bitcoin has so much lower fees. Currency is not fee-free. That's a mouthful. Because the company still has to make a profit off every transaction. They're charging fees. They have to be. We don't know how much because they don't like to disclose that, but they have to be. Bitcoin is undoubtedly cheaper to use. And the barrier of entry is going to be similar. The average person does not understand Bitcoin, and the average person does not understand currency. They don't, and they won't, because it's scanning things twice using their phone, and people don't trust their phones with money, generally speaking. Mobile banking hasn't really taken off yet. It's not going to happen. The bottom line is this is a poor user experience. It's a poor consumer experience. And the only way I can see this possibly succeeding is if retailers launch an all-out marketing war against traditional NFC payments, and they try to give you free stuff for using the app. And it might just work.
Toasters.
The only way it'll work is if they stop accepting credit cards and cash. And the only way you can buy anything from them is to use a stupid currency app. That's the only way I see this working anywhere. It's just a hassle. It takes less time for me to pull out my checkbook and write a check than it does to complete a transaction with currency.
You're right.
It's ridiculous.
And on top of that, I'm going to interrupt you again, John. On top of that, they have lost the support of the early adopters. Because the early adopters are the trendsetters. They're the people that used Google Wallet once and it impressed everybody else in a 10-foot radius. They're like, whoa, what'd you just do? They've lost those people. Those people have no interest in using currency. Those people are ticked that they can't use Google Wallet and Apple Pay anymore. They're ticked. So I don't see it working. But go ahead, John. Tell us your opinion.
Sure. Thanks, Greg. I don't think it's that far of a stretch to do two pictures. I don't think it's that far of a stretch to be like for the cashier to tell you. I mean, I still run into those terminals where like you swipe your card and I want to tell them to use credit, but they want to use ATM. And I'm like, no, don't do that. I don't want to use debit. I want to use credit card, right? If your app was very straightforward, I think that people would get it. Now, not everyone has a smartphone, right? Not everyone has a $200, maybe $100 phone, along with the data contract and all that good stuff, right? I mean, a lot of people do, but I'm just saying that not everyone does. I think it's very short-sighted. I think the fact that they've already been hacked, I think that the marketing campaign is now an uphill battle, right? And like Craig said, if you have the technology to use Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a bad. You want to talk about an uphill marketing battle? I mean, they're literally they have to take the slow game with Bitcoin. You have to. It's a slow game right now because the market is still volatile. Everyone thought, oh, well, it's good now. It's at like 600-700. It's gonna stay there. No, right? But the money's still going into doing little things, getting some stuff done with Bitcoin. So I think that's still there. I don't think that using the app issue is going to be a big deal. And people actually like. Once a retailer like Walmart's on board and trusting the technology and taking pictures back and forth, no one's going to care. They're just going to do it. And I don't think they're going to be that bad at it.
Why are they going to do it when they can just swipe their credit card in a third of the time?
One less device to get out. I don't know about you, but when I walk up to the counter, I usually have my phone in my hand, just because I'm the type of guy who's texting in line.
What would make a consumer trust the currency app when it requires so much personal information and the company already has a...
Now that's the uphill marketing climb that they have to do. Now,
if you noticed, one of the first things out of Tim Cook's mouth when he was introducing Apple Pay is that they store as little information on transaction history as possible. Now, we don't know what type of company Currency is. It's actually not Currency. Currency is a brand. The company behind it has a weird name. It's 3 letters. It's an acronym, I guess. Or probably an initialism more than an acronym. But I'm sure they're based in the United States. So if you were really, truly using this app across all retailers, in terms of barrier to subpoena, it's just so easy. It's just so easy.
Well, I mean,
you're building in the database for them. And we know nothing about the company. We don't know what data they're going to sell, what data they're going to license, what data they're going to share. Why would you trust them?
What data's going to get hacked?
Sure, that too. I mean, we know Apple and Google. We know Google and Apple don't sell information. They occasionally charge for access to it, anonymized. But and we also know that they don't bend to the will just because, well, they're loaded. They don't need the money. They're not in a position where they're going to barter user information for cash to continue operating. As far as we can tell, this company's just a startup that managed to convince some retailers that they're worth investing in. They're worth signing contracts for. They've already been hacked once.
No, hold on. No, I'm gonna come back on you on that one. So currency, it looks like, and I'm reading an article from The Verge. So it's going to be anti-currency anyway. But it said that they were hacked some email addresses of people using the app or who have signed up to learn more.
Right. The app is not live.
Right, and so basically, this was one of their databases full of possible when they say something like signed up using the app or who have signed up, which means that it's a live, probably not very well secured database that was, you go to the currency website, oh, would you like to learn more? Yes, I would. Here's my email address. Later on, you became a customer. So they can say they got some customer email addresses along with people who wanted to learn more. So they hacked a stupid web portal. Now, whether or not that's how good their security is throughout, that's a different story. They might have hired another web firm to do that.
Well, no, John, it's the same story. Because the company's security is designed, it's their weakest link. And if their weakest link has already been exploited, then it's a statement to how they treat security. If security was their priority, this would not have happened.
Agreed. And I think, and I don't know how that. I mean, the fact that Walmart is like really down with this, I don't know who. I mean, it's one of those where follow the money. Who was paid off, or why did Walmart think that this was going to be so much better of an idea and not get on board with Apple Pay and Google Wallet? I just don't.
Well, I debated a little bit with Mike from the Chromebook group, and he actually argued the argument I've been making, so I argued the arguments you're making. And in general, it boils down to Walmart doesn't want Apple or Google to have information on consumer buying habits, because Google and Apple are both very large corporations that can do a lot of data mining. If they have purchase information from different retailers, they can match geolocation data of where their users are, what their users are purchasing. They can serve related ads. Apple does that too, by the way. But they can actually work against the retailers. I mean, for example, if Apple or Google decided to start competing with Amazon directly, and they also had all of this data mining that they completed from users that use Google Wallet and Apple Pay to buy things at major retailers at a major disadvantage, and it's not something that they would have any sort of control over. They wouldn't be able to tell Google or Apple how much information they're allowed to collect, because Google and Apple are in control.
Well, that would depend on if you required an electronic receipt. That, I mean, I would think that type of personal data, like what you purchased, wouldn't be listed in your Google Wallet receipt, right? You should just. Why would they have that information? That would be my question.
Probably for fraud protection. Be able to itemize stuff out. I'm sure the retailers have it. It's just a matter of how the systems are integrated and what data they're actually sending and receiving. I know when I've purchased things with Google Wallet in the past, I do have itemized lists. I don't know about using Tap to Pay, but yeah. Google Wallet on the web obviously gives you.
James, do they know about your hot dog habit from the
I've been typically I just go to whatever gas station is nearest me to get my hot dog fix, but I only recently discovered Come and Go allows me to use Google Tap to Pay, and there's 2 Come and Go's in my town, so it'll be a while before I've hit them up enough before I start learning cashiers' names, but I will probably start learning their names because it's a cheap lunch, and I get to geek out on Google Wallet every time I do it.
James, your receipt, because you're using Tap to Pay with your phone. Have you used it already with the gas station?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so is your receipt isn't saved to your phone, is it?
It's probably in my wallet account, I imagine.
So Craig and I are talking about the fact that now Google knows that you buy a lot of hot dogs from gas stations. They know that you are a gourmet of hot dogs in the area.
For some reason, the wallet app is not showing up on my phone. So that's weird. I just used it today, and it's not in my list of apps. I have some investigating to do.
That's because we're live and someone realized that you've mentioned that you've never changed your password. They're like, no, he did
I
it.
swear it's not there. Yeah, that's very curious. I'll have to figure out where my wallet
head over
app
to
went.
wallet.google.com. Because the only thing I've purchased.
Yep, there's my receipt today. $4.57 at Come and Go, number 509.
Right, but does it say what it is?
It says tap and pay purchase. Status is still pending, apparently. Funded by, and then it has the last four of my credit card number. It says via virtual MasterCard, 3115.
Do you
So
see?
that
On prior purchases that you've made at the Stop and Go and purchased a hot dog, do you actually see the receipt at all?
No, I'm not sure what you mean. Like an itemized list of what I bought?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it just says that the money went to Come and Go, and it has the amount, but it doesn't say what I purchased.
Huh.
That
Does that
surprises
bother
me.
you?
Somebody has that information, whether they're showing it to you or not.
I'm pretty sure I got a paper receipt.
Right. The retailer obviously has that information.
Right.
But I'm sure they're passing it along to Google somehow. Because for example, if you reported it as fraud to your credit card company is going to go back to Google and say, Google, you processed the payment. Show us some sort of evidence saying that it's legitimate. Unless at that point Google just contacts the retailer.
This is so weird. When I go to the Play Store, it says that the app is installed and I can open it from the Play Store. But it wasn't showing up in my list. And it's opening as if it was never opened before.
There was an update recently.
Yeah, it took my PIN and I'm looking at my account now, so it's just weird that it wouldn't show up in my list. But it worked great. If you're wondering how it works, you do have to put your PIN number in, so it's best if you do it first. I think when you put your PIN number in, it leaves the app unlocked for like 30 minutes or something before you have to type your PIN in again. So if you're going somewhere where you know you're about to use Google Wallet, you open the app, put the PIN in, and then when you're ready to purchase, you literally just tap the thingy with your phone one time, it vibrates, and then you have to sign as if you had just swiped your credit card. And that's all it is. Pretty slick.
All right. Well, so yeah. Anyway, all right. So I think that it's a much larger debate that we can't really. I know that I can't speak intelligently on the concern. I just know that I just know that it surprises me that no one likes the credit cards because the credit card companies have a monopoly. You have Visa, you have MasterCard, you have Discover, you have Amex. Amex, no one really wants to use either. But I mean, you have basically a monopoly, and then you have these exchange fees, and then everything's now electronic, so like it shouldn't cost like even a quarter of what it's cost now to do it, right? So, not exchange fees, interchange fees, right? So that's why people hate the credit card companies. But again, they're making money because they have to cover fraud, which they're covering daily in the hundreds of millions of dollars. You were going to say something, Craig?
Well, they're not technically monopolies because monopolies means no competition, and there is competition.
You know what I mean.
They act like it.
They act like it because they work together. They collude.
If you can prove that, John, we can get somewhere.
I cannot say that they lay in bed together and collude.
Come back when you've got evidence.
We're going to the mattresses. That's what Walmart's saying with this tactic. I think that they're going to go against that current setup. So anyway, all right, awesome. Hey, I like that stuff. That's good. That's good stuff. It's good stuff. And I can't believe again that. I mean, you guys would say I'm the one that talks the most, but we got like another hour-long show again. I don't know how it happens. Anyway, all right, Craig, where can people find Mr. Tumbleson throughout the webs, the wibbly webbles?
Well, in person, you can find me at Walgreens because they are still accepting Google Wallet.
Hey now.
Online, you can find me on Google+. I use my real name, Craig Tumbleson.
All right, so Craig's creeping around drugstores, trying to see who's got Google Pay and who doesn't. Mr. Welbus, where can people find you, sir?
Now that I know Walgreens accepts Google Wallet, you can find me at my local Walgreens. Otherwise, you can also find me on Google+. I use my real name, James Welbus, not Weebles, not Wilbers. Welbus.
Okay. All right. You know what? I've got to check out this Walgreens situation. Now, they don't sell hot dogs, so I'm not going to be there very often. But I'll have to check that out. Everybody can
They
find
sell
me.
hot dogs, just not cooked hot dogs.
Well, they are fully cooked. They're just not warm.
True. Yes.
All right. My name is John Alpha. You can find me on the webs, on the interwebs at practicalchrome.com, where you'll find this show, as well as on Google Plus, where I don't do anything anymore. so, but I do apparently have these 3 inbox invites. So if you want one, holler at me. I got 3. But everyone, thanks for watching. I know that we've had a few listeners on and off as we've been running through our show here live. If you like the show, be sure to come back again sometime next week. Hopefully it's Tuesday, but depending on some schedules, it might be a little bit later than that in the week. But definitely post on the Practical Chrome show page on G+. So definitely check us out. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks James and Craig. And we'll see everybody next time.